Take a look at this picture. It may look just like me doing a bit of work with my oldest son, but it's a really important photo. It's the day before Christmas Eve of 2003. Just a normal day. I've bought this trailer and I'm just starting to rub it down, paint it and get it ready for the next season when we'll be using it with our fairground equipment that we've got. And yet there's so much to this photo that you may not get. For starters, it just started snowing as this photo was taken. It was freezing cold. My wife had come out and said, "Whatever are you doing out here? It's absolutely freezing. Come inside. Come on. It's Christmas in a couple of days. Take a break." I sent my son in and carried on. And while I was rubbing this down, I started thinking to myself about the events that brought me to where I was at this stage. Back in 1990, towards Christmas, my youngest son was born on the 16th of December. Somebody who I trusted a lot was offering to look after the business for me while I spent a bit of time at home with my newest son. And I let them. Now, the chapters of this story have closed for good because reopening them doesn't help me or you move forward. But what I will say is that during that period of time I lost my business. I was in serious financial difficulties with two small sons. I spoke to my dad about what I was going to have to do. My dad, as I said in the video the other day, said to me, "Sell everything around you, but do not go bankrupt. Get your ass into gear and get out and work your way out of that." And over the following years, that's what I did. I had a series of different jobs and things, and not naming all of them. These are just some of the things I did. I had a record collection, so I started a market stall selling my records because that was the only way I had to bring some money in. By the end of that year, I'd pretty much run out of all my stock and needed to do something else. So I went and got a job. I went and had a job for a few years. And then after that, I went car valeting door to door to earn some money to bring things around. And slowly but surely, we started to pull our way away from the mire. But that's not the important bit. That day on this photo, as I was rubbing this down and the snow started to fall, I started to get angry. I started to blame the person that I'd allowed to run our business and run it into the ground in a very, very short period. And as I stood out there in the cold and in the snow, using that drill to rub down the fiberglass, I was saying to myself, is this what I was meant for? Is this what I was meant to do? Is this how my life was meant to be? Because I sure it wasn't. I started to blame him. And as I thought about it, the more angry I got. Losing my business was the very beginning of 1991. It's now 2003. 12 years have passed. It had been a long time, and I'd been doing stuff to try and get myself forward. But all the time I carried this bitterness, this anger, this hate. And it really, really got to me. And this particular day, it's probably about an hour and a half after this photo was taken, the snow had started to lay, and I'm looking at this trailer and I'm thinking, this isn't right. This isn't right. Had it not been for him, I wouldn't be in this position I'm in now. And then I was thinking to myself, do you know what? He probably doesn't even give the slightest thought to this. And here I am doing this and going through this. And it was like a lightning bolt hitting me on the shoulder. It was that eureka moment in my life when I thought to myself, do you know what? For all these years, I have been bitter about this. And it's not got me anywhere. I'm working hard. I still feel like I've been hard done by. And the time again, I keep going over this. I've had enough of it. I'm sick and tired of him sleeping properly, me laying awake at night, me going through all this. I don't deserve this. As the snow laid on the ground, I dragged my foot across the ground and stepped over it and went, that's it. I'm not going back anymore. I'm not wasting any more time doing this. And it was like that. It was a decision that I made that changed everything. You see, we hadn't stopped working. I did what my dad said. I got my ass into gear and I worked and worked and worked and worked and worked. But I played victim for the whole time. Yes, the person I'm talking about may have caused the ruination of it. But from that moment on, it was down to me to move on. What had happened was gone, and I needed to move forward, and yet I couldn't. And I'm telling you now, and I'm not going to beat about the bush or say anything, I played victim, and I needed to develop some backbone, grow up and act like a man. Because all the time I was blaming him, I wasn't taking responsibility for what was going on in my life. Yes, I was doing the work. Yes, I was trying to move forward. But in here, I was a victim. And I've heard many people say that they can't do this and they can't do that, and you're wrong. You're totally wrong. You have to do something. You have to develop the backbone. The rubber hits the road and you have got to move on. You have to take control of your life. And that's what I had to do. I had beaten myself up over this for years. I had worked my guts out. I'd gone through a period where we had so little money we ate beans on toast for pretty much every meal while we fed the kids properly. We used to scour car boot sales to try and find second-hand products that looked like new to buy for presents for our kids because we couldn't afford to go to the shop and buy better. And every time I did that, I blamed someone else. But it wasn't their fault. What happened, what they did was their fault. That was then. But as the years went by, that was up to me. I had the chance to take control of my life. You cannot let what happens to you affect your attitude. You have to turn it around. And that's what I had to do. And you know what? When I did it, it was like a weight lifting off my shoulders. Yes, we'd slowly worked on, we'd slowly improved over that time from 1991 to 2003. Yes, we'd worked our way out, but inside here, man, I played victim every single day. I blamed somebody else. I couldn't blame him enough for what went on. But my head held me back. My attitude held me back. It stopped me from moving forward. I was prosecuting him every single day. I was laying in bed at night with my eyes wide open, worrying about what had gone on, what he'd done to me. But you know what? The biggest problem in all of it was me. Sometimes, you just have to stop blaming somebody else and take responsibility for your own life. And yes, I did the work, but I didn't take responsibility of this. And that is the most important thing you have to do. You have to accept what's happened. It's in the past, and you have to move on. I look at this photo and it reminds me of that day, the 23rd of December, 2003. It was the day that changed my life. It was the day when I stopped blaming, got my head into gear, and actually started to move on. So if you're in a position where you think the world is coming down on your shoulders, you're probably right. If you want me to give you a little arm around your shoulder and tell you it's going to be fine, I'll do that for you, but it ain't going to help you. Because at some stage, no matter what the world chucks at you, it's up to you to do something about it. You can't rely on somebody else and the goodwill and the social behaviour of the world around you to keep you going. Sometimes you just got to man up, throw your shoulders back and sort yourself out. I'd done the work for all those years between 1991 and 2003. But until I took control of my own life in my head, I was still a victim. Lots of people won't want to hear this, but it's the truth. I ain't no better than you. I'm not anybody special. It took me 13 years, 12 years. It took me 12 years to get my head right. You do not have to do the same. If you're going through crap, let me tell you, you can get out of it. It's not going to be easy. If you think it's going to be easy and you're waiting for something easy to come along, then you're just wasting your time. You are going to have to get your head into gear and you are going to have to go. What you've got to face to get out of that hole is not easy. But then again, neither is staying where you are and having your own little pity party and blaming everybody else in the world and playing the victim. It will not help you. I'm not going to pussyfoot around it. I'm not going to tell you that it'll be all right and something will come along. You need to do what I had to do. You need to do what my dad told me to do. You have to get off your ass, get into gear, work out what you want out of your life, and then take the steps to get you there. And you can do all the work, you can do all of that. But if your head is still where mine was for 12 years, you are not going to move on. Let me tell you something. The minute I decided that was enough, I'd had it with fighting this system that my head was in. Do you know something? That night I slept properly for the first time in years. I got up feeling so much better. And the way we moved on from there was totally different. I started to put the work in, don't get me wrong, I started to put the work in. But the feeling I got inside made me proud of myself for pulling away from that. I'm not proud of the fact it took me 12 years to sort my head out, not in the slightest. Are there any carryovers from that? Yes, there are. I still don't like Christmas. I still don't enjoy birthdays for my kids and that, because I'm always reminded of the times of going to car boot fit sales, hunting for people's cast offs to be able to give my kids something for their birthdays and Christmases. I've never got over that. It haunts me to this day. But what haunts me is if I'd have got my head into gear so much earlier than I did, I wouldn't have those thoughts. If you're in that position, just sort your head out, please. Get yourself into gear. If I can do this, so can you. I am no one special. You can turn your life around even when you think it's the end of the world. Because for years I thought it was the end of the world. Even though I was moving on, I still didn't feel like it. I could see I was getting more around me. I could see we were getting further forward. But in my head, nah. I was still in the same place that I'd been for years. But that day, the 23rd of December 2003, I drew a line in the snow, I stood over it and said, I am never going back. And that was the day I decided I was no longer going to be a loser. Make today your day for doing exactly the same thing. I'll see you next time.